So let's talk about the 3 easy steps to becoming rich. The first is control what's going out. That's something I've talked on many times on this show. In fact, we did a great episode 128 in season 1. It was called Budget or Busted. Now remember, if you want to find out where some of these great episodes are, you can go to itsagoodlife.com. We have this beautiful website, and we've actually categorized by whether it's goals, personal growth, business growth, motivation. We have a real estate section in there. Our favorite guests. Here's last year's favorite most listened to shows. And then, of course, we have a whole segment just on money. And you click on that, and it'll pull up 3 or 4 episodes that you can listen to get the ball rolling for yourself. And so when it's talking about money here, here's the first thing. We have to control what's going out, how much you're spending. You will never make a fortune. You will never be rich unless you control your expenditures. End of story. You know, there's no amount of money you cannot spend. You can go broke on any amount of money. Jack Kent Cooke, brilliant guy, businessman, owned the Washington Redskins, as they were called at the time. And he had a fabulous Hall of Fame coach called George Allen. And he said, I gave George an unlimited budget to win the Super Bowl, and George overspent it. That's the truth. You can spend and overblow any budget. You know, bankruptcies don't just happen with people who are barely making a living. Bankruptcy has happened at every level of the stratosphere. In fact, when people win the lottery, they're 5 times more likely to file bankruptcy than they were before. So we have to create a budget. A Debt.com survey said 80% of people last year made a budget, up from 68% in 2019. That's music to my ears. So I'm not going to beat it in the ground. Seems like a lot of people are doing it. Dave Ramsey, Mr. Budget, said a budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. You know, there's some great apps that are available today. Mint.com is a great app for budgeting. Pocket Guard. And the one that's great for couples is called Good Budget. So that's a great couple of apps. It's easier than ever before to get a budget. If you don't have one, get one. The next thing in controlling what's going out is to prioritize your expenses. Warren Buffett says, don't save what's left after spending, but spend what's left after saving. Peter Drucker says, what gets measured gets managed. You got to manage your money. Here's the death question. Where's all the money going? I don't know. It just evaporates. It just comes in and it goes out. I have no idea where it's going. Well, that's someone who's in trouble. You have to prioritize your expenses. And that's why we have a little resource here which basically allows you to ABC your expenses, prioritize them. And so we have this resource that we'll give away at the end of the show here. Go on the itsagoodlife.com website. And this is a little resource we developed for people years and years ago in our coaching program that still works beautifully today. That's a little resource for fixed expenses, irregular expenses, discretionary spending. I've spoken on this before. The third thing in controlling what's going out is to create a surplus. That is the goal. I'm budgeting so I can create a surplus. William Feather said, a budget tells us what we can't afford, but it doesn't keep us from buying it. We want to have the budget so that we stop from buying things we can't afford, so that we build the surplus. And the surplus can be, I talked about this in getting your financial house in order. You can either A, get yourself an emergency fund, a crisis fund. You get yourself some reserves, and then ultimately build up a fund for investing. The bottom line is you want to create a surplus. So create the budget, prioritize your expenses, and create a surplus. Thanks for watching. If you want more tips on how to think, feel, and do better, check out these videos too. Oh, by the way, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave us a like if you enjoy the content.